but you played, so you were an actor and producer.
I was, yes.
And what role, because on set, it's tricky. With a small cast,
Yeah.
you are not filling the role of producer as laying back, making sure like kind of what Reef did of like, okay, I'm going to do the footage, make sure everything's smooth. You were acting.
Yeah, so you really can't, as an actor, focus on
No.
what's going on behind the camera while you're in front of the camera.
What was some of the things that you felt like you did well during the movie as an actor and as like your skill tree of stuff? Like if you were to say like my best skill at acting is improv, which I would argue is very good. If you know the Are You Gonna Tip scene, which is like by far I think the funniest scene.
I think that is very funny.
Which is an improv. Obviously like improv can be like, hey, I think you should say this or whatever. But delivery on improv and being natural, I think that's definitely a top. But what are kind of the things that you feel like you're good at and you did good or bad in the movie?
Okay. I'll run with the acting. I'm going to say first something I hated. The shot I hate. Not the shot, but...
Bro, I'm right here.
No, so I hate my delivery of the line when I squat down at the hole and Ray says, how many strokes was that? Or he says, how many hits was that to get to the hole? And I go, I don't know. I lost count. The delivery of that line makes me like cringe every time I watch it.
Which I don't necessarily cringe. And that's also on the director, right? A little. Like how much?
I don't know, because I think that's
how much would you put on the director and actor?
I wouldn't say, because you said you didn't notice it. And I think that could be just, okay, it's normal.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I could have done it better. And I think that, like, you can't know that. Like, especially at this stage of, like, actually focusing on real acting, reacting.
Because that could be a producer thing. You hear, like, let's say John Smith is doing your acting. Wait, was it John Smith?
Yeah, John Smith.
And
which I want to say Jon Snow every time I need to say that.
Because of Game of Thrones. As a producer, you could notice that, too. It'd be like...
Dang it.
We just put 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need to know that, but that's why we're giggling like little girls.
Okay, back at it.
But that's where I want to see. I'm so excited for is when Sam's behind the camera too, and
we also can't use like I think I would love to act more, and I've thought about even like listing myself as an actor on like websites to see if I could even try out acting in other situations. But we can't use me as an actor every time. It's got to be someone different. It's got to be different. It's got to have some diversity in like age, anything. It just can't just be the same 20-year-old.
Like, wait, Sam was a gangster. Andy's this guy. Andy's this guy. It's like it's
just
really
gets boring.
hard too. Yeah, especially like news stories. It's like, okay, if Sam's always in this, it's always gonna feel like a Suka like gimmick in my mind or whatever. And I didn't want to lead you off the path of. Now, that's something you did bad. Where do you think your strengths was? That was just one instance. Maybe maybe you have like a list of like 50,000 negative things you did.
So I think that timing is a big thing. And I think I could have worked on that a little bit more, like with delivery of the lines, not like rushing it and like taking it like a real conversation. Like when you're talking to someone, you're not like boom, 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 boom. You take time and you like pause and you have natural pauses in your cadence. It's not just all boom, boom, boom. You're not coming out with like constant words. I mean, occasionally it is, but like in a natural conversation, there's pauses, there's stumbles. So I think natural dialogue, I would love to work on, and I think I can work on that a lot. Just having like a natural conversation and making it feel real and not like a forced thing, which I don't know how to do that yet, but I'd love to learn how. Something I think improv I do well, because that's literally what we have done for the past 18 years is just improv with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very natural. Especially with me behind the camera. I feel like, I mean, when we're in scenes together, our improv is perfect. I'd say.
We have a good...
It honestly goes too long every time. Yeah, there's no stopping point.
We just go for so long.
If it's... I mean, we haven't really tried anything but comedy. And this was a comedy movie, which Sam is extremely funny, so of course he fits into the comedic route. Yeah,
I think, like... I don't want to, like... I hate, like, hyping myself up, but, like... There's some lines that are very funny that have, like... That came from improv. And it wasn't just me improving. Like, Luke's dad, Mark, he was there. And, like, he was the one that influenced, like, the tipping scene. And he said, hey, like, tell him to tip. And that's super funny, and that's like a lot of people's favorite lines, just because he's just such a jerk for that line. You just, hey, don't forget to tip. It's so funny. No one would do that in real life, and like you're just like, that's what in the world that sucks.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's so fun, and that's one of my favorite things to do in acting too, is like the improv part. Like it's fun to like do your lines and like it's fun to execute the like story that you know and like memorizing the lines. That's fun. Just because it's kind of like a game of tennis. You're like just bouncing back and forth.
And then the spike is kind of that. I mean, that's like another thing. If you're a writer or whatever, you need to write a really good script and just trust that there will be improv that happens spontaneously. There we go. That would have been a real roadblock for me. But spontaneous improv.
Yeah.
You cannot leave spaces for improv. If you go, okay, we're going to talk about going to rob your grandpa.
All right, do it.
And then leave it. No, I'm not even saying that. Like, all right, this dialogue's going to be filled in like back and forth. And then we literally have done this before. We'll leave a space. Improv here.
Yeah.
What if we don't feel like improv?
Yeah, because improv is very in the moment. And you feel it. You're like, okay, this feels natural to do here. It's not just like, go. It's
okay,
like,
improv. Okay.
I'm
going to tip Jaws. Oh.
I also want to say something that's really fun. Completely sidetrack, but Jaws. They're talking about Jaws in the first or the cafe or the diner scene, and the final line. And you wouldn't know this unless you were a super diehard Spielberg or Jaws fan. The last line of dialogue in the whole film is the last line of dialogue. Jaws.
The second. Yeah.
So that's very fun, and that's Mark.
Because they talk about Jaws at the start, and then Mark, my dad. I was about to say my bro, but I was like, that doesn't make sense.
My bro.
We made sure we did that right, which is like, that's what makes movies really fun. So now if you go back, I encourage you to rewatch the movie after finishing this episode and look for what we're pointing out. Now, this is acting. And we're going to be mixing in, this could be a longer episode, we're going to be mixing in a lot of different stuff from these different perspectives we have.
There's the thing about doing short films as a young filmmaker, you're doing a lot of roles.
Oh, yeah.
So you're learning a lot of roles, and there's a lot that you learn each step. Like with this is technically like 3, the third one. Just like such big steps each time, and you're learning such big like things about each role, and you have so many roles under your belt, so you're learning so much each time. That's what we're here to tell you about. We're here
and
to tell
now
you about what
they're
to learn.
Like more locked down of learning. Like Sam and I were talking about earlier,